With the NFL draft a week away, I figured I should make a video going over NFL prospects, but not like everyone, where everyone's making the same video about their top five wide receivers and all that. I wanted to make a video going over some of my guys in this class, which are more of the under the radar players within draft classes. Now, I will preface this: the term "my guy" for me is a term that I classify players that aren't going to go in like the top end of drafts. Usually, players in like the third round and beyond are players I truly classify as my guys, as I use it as more of a way to talk about underrated players. And as so many people love to talk about the top end players, but I want to call the guys that'll be slept on in drafts. With that in mind, let's get started. So I won't do quarterbacks because it's kind of weird to do that with quarterbacks when there's not that many quarterbacks in draft classes. So skipping that and going to running backs, I'm going to talk about players. I'm going to talk about four running backs here, those being Brashal Tootin, DJ Giddens, Taj Brooks, and Kyle Monogamy. Starting with one of my guys in the class, Brashal Tootin is someone that I've been a fan of since January. So I was ahead of everyone who found him in the combine. Brashal is overall one of the shiftiest running backs in the class and has such a great second level burst and can truly just take off when he sees a lane. The guy also has very good vision and is able to make great cutbacks if nothing is developing in front of him. The only real knock on his game, in my eyes at least, was his gap running. He wasn't someone who ran a lot through tackles, but I do think that was Virginia Tech's fault, as their run scheme really didn't ask him to do that. But I would truly take Brashal Tootin in like day two, and in my eyes could be a mid to possible early second round pick. I am that high on it. Moving to DJ Giddens, he is sadly being overshadowed right now by the other running back in Kansas, that being Devin Neal. But Giddens is such a good running back. He has such a good feel for blockers and overall has great vision. He is a decently built running back as well, which can allow him to take on a big workload, which he did at Kansas State, as he was primarily the lead back there and helped lead the Wildcats with the top running back or the top rushing attacks in college football. He will more than likely be taken in like round 5, but I would be likely to take him in round 3, truthfully. Moving on to another guy that hasn't been talked about a lot, give me Taj Brooks, who has some of the most fun film in the running back class in ever, like truly this entire class. He isn't a burner by any means, but please watch his film for one full game, and you'll see what I am talking about when I say he has some of the most fun film. His vision allows him to make plays that should be nowhere to a gain of like 7-8 yards, and it is the most fun thing to watch. Like, he can genuinely take a play that goes nowhere to almost a first down. I again would take this man in the third round. He has that much potential and is that much of a weapon in the right hands. I am super high on Taj Brooks. I don't know why no one else is talking about him. And then the final running back I want to mention is Kyle Monogamy, and I felt like he was talked about a lot last year, but somehow no one is mentioning him now. But he's a pretty quick running back, and it could be a good change of pace back in the league as well. Moving on to the wide receiver position, and honestly, this whole wide receiver class is pretty underrated. It just sucks they have to go right after one of the best wide receiver classes we will ever have. But talking about some of my guys at this wide receiver class, I have 3 I'm a root for, those being Jalen Noel, Pat Bryant, and Ricky White. Starting with Jalen Noel, I was actually more impressed with him than Jaden Higgins, believe it or not. A lot of people are talking about Jaden Higgins in this class, but I found Jalen Noel to be kind of better. Jaden Higgins is still good, no offense, but I was more impressed with Jalen Noel as a receiver, and I think his skill set is why. His skill set can be utilized so well in the slot for a team like Jacksonville, who just traded away Christian Kirk. He's a great route runner and has a pretty consistent catch radius as well. I really do believe he has a great potential to be a Robin in the NFL and can be a great wide receiver too in this league. Moving to Pat Bryant, why do I feel like no one is talking about him? I saw him as a very fluid route runner with a nice ability to have a pretty good catch radius. He's not a burner. He's not like super fast by any means, but truly I feel like he has some of the most upside in this wide receiver class, and I can't believe like no one's mentioning him. He's a pretty solid all-around wide receiver, and I'm genuinely surprised when I've seen like no one talk about him. Again, please, Pat Bryant is great. But the final guy I want to mention is someone I've been talking about since last year, when he came back for his senior year, and that is Ricky White from UNLV. Last year, I honestly felt like he could have been taken in like the second round. I wasn't that high on him as a player, but again, he went for his senior year back at UNLV, and yet again, no one's talking about him. He's going to be a great slot guy, has a real possibility to be one of the top slots, honestly, in the league, and I would take him in the second round again. Like, he is that impressive to me. No one's talking about him. He's a great route runner, quick short burst, and quick long speed. He has a high ceiling, and I'm super down for whoever's going to take him in the NFL. Moving on to the tight end position, I only have one guy here because there really isn't much of a my guy in this class because a lot of the tight ends are going to be taken pretty highly or they're highly talked about. So I don't really have anyone to like lean on here. The one guy that I felt like could be talked about a little more is Luke Lockey. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, from Iowa. I really feel like he should be talked about more. He's a very good blocker. Pretty consistent with his hands. I just think a big part of his game fell down to him being in Iowa, which sucks, but genuinely a pretty under-the-radar tight end in a very deep tight end class. Going into the offensive line, there are 4 guys I want to talk about here. Those being Jared Wilson, Dylan Fairchild, Charles Grant, and Jackson Slater. Starting with the 2-for-1 here, those being Jared Wilson and Dylan Fairchild, who are both players that played for Georgia. A lot of people are going to talk about Tate Ratledge from Georgia, but honestly, I liked what I saw from these two a bit more. They are better run blockers in my eyes and have a better job combo blocking. They were playing together because one of them was a center, the other one's a guard, so they obviously combo blocked a lot. They have strong hands in pass protection, which allows them to grip onto the pads pretty consistently. I really liked what I saw from both of these two and have some nice backup potential and also the possibility of being a starter one day. Like what I saw from these two, their footwork was pretty good as well. Then we have the 2 tackles, starting with Charles Grant, who played for a school called William and Mary. Never heard of it, but this man's legit. He has a strong base. He has powerful hands. Attacks pretty well in run games. Like, he is a very good talent. The only reason why I feel like no one's talking about him is because the school he goes to. Because, again, what the hell is William and Mary? But he is a top tackle in my eyes. And if he went to, like, an SEC school or something, you would have been hearing about this guy a lot. Other than that, I believe the other red flag outside of his school is that he's 6'4", which isn't bad by, like, any means. But when we're talking about tackles, you want your tackles to be about, like, 6'5", 6'6". 6'4" is a bit small. You're reaching guard height at that point, but honestly, I don't care. A lot of what I saw from him had huge upside, and I'm very interested to see where he ends up getting picked up, because if he goes to a team that knows how to develop O-linemen like Philly, Dallas, Kansas City even, this guy will be an immediate starter for them. I know it. But I think for me, my favorite offensive lineman and my guy from the O-line class is Jackson Slater. And when I tell you this man is a mauler in the run game, he runs like the Juggernaut if you've watched like the X-Men or read X-Men comics. He is an elite blocker with such a good get-off from his stance. He is a great post foot. Like, his run game is some of the best you'll see truly in his entire class. He does a great job combo blocking. He was just a ton of fun to watch. His footwork outside of run blocking is a bit of a part of his game. And especially pass protection, I think that's where his talent does fall off a little bit. So one thing about him is that his grip isn't like fully there, and it does allow defensive ends to just blow by him in case they're like, they're chopping at the hands. He won't have a strong grip on them, and they'll just run by him. So that is a bit of a warning in terms of his game. But other than that, I mean, we're talking about a very, very good tackle in this class, and I think he's going to be an immediate starter for a team, especially a team that loves to run the damn ball. Now we move on to the defensive line. And starting off, I just want to say that this is a pretty deep D-line class, but specifically with the defensive tackles, very deep there. Overall, the position has a bunch of talent, and there are 4 guys I'm going to be talking about here. First off being Omar Norman-Lott, then we have CJ West, Howard Cross, and then Ty Hamilton. Now, talking about Omar real quick, he is one of my guys, but I think that this is a bit of a different case for my guys because I do think Omar Norman-Lott is being talked about a lot. But I just wanted to mention him because I'm a big fan of him. When I say this man probably has the best get off in the class, I mean it. He has such a great spring, and it allows him to just swing right past through offensive linemen, especially in pass protection. Now that is where he shines the most, is in his pass rush game. He has a good bend, and he has a great impact with his hands in the run game, but his lane integrity isn't great, and that's where he struggles a lot in the run game. He will get blown off his stance, and it'll allow linebackers to get their hands on O-linemen, which is not what you want. Um, now I will say I am all in on Omar, and I think he's going to be a great D tackle in this class, regardless of that. But it is a negative in his game. Now we move on to the complete opposite of Omar Norman Lott, and that is C.J. West, who's a great run defender, but isn't a good pass rusher. He has a very good get off as well, great hands, and his base allows him to take off blockers, which allows linebackers to swing in and take down the running backs in the run game. So again, great D tackle if you're looking for someone who's going to stop the run. However, again, pass rusher, he isn't great. But I won't complain if a team who needs someone to stop the run is going to take C.J. West, like Dallas, for example. They're not looking for a guy who needs to pass rush, but a guy who needs to stop the run. And this is their guy. Going to Howard Cross, he is someone that I knew about last year as well, and he's a lot better as a pass rusher than a run defender, similar to Omar Norman Lott, but I think his get-off's a bit worse. He isn't horrible as a run defender, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was a previous defensive end that transitioned to D-tackle because he was a bit heavier at the end, so that's kind of why he's a better edge rusher, pass rusher than a defensive tackle. But regardless, I think that he was going to be a good third down rotational DT. He's going to be someone to look out for in round 4. And then finally, I wanted to mention Ty Hamilton. And even though Tyleik Williams is going to be a top prospect when it comes to defensive tackles from Ohio State, I think Ty Hamilton was almost as good as him, especially being a more rotational guy at OSU. Moving to the edge position, there are 3 guys I want to highlight here. Overall, it's a pretty okay edge rusher class, but there are 3 guys again that I want to mention. Those bring Braden Swinson, Camion Rucker, and David Walker. Starting with Braden, he's in a profound pass rusher by any means, at least from what I watched, but that doesn't mean he's bad at it. I just think that he lacks some element there, a second pass rush move and whatever. He has nice cutbacks. He does a good job moving his hands. He's pretty solid. I just think that he can definitely tweak his pass rush game a little bit. But what I love from him is as a run defender, he's great, especially track down tackling. The man will be a weak side D end, and he will track down running backs and make a play on the ball. He is that determined to make plays in the run game, and you just love to see that from your defensive ends. He's going to be someone to look out for. Another guy I liked is Camion Rucker, who, yes, he is small. He's about 6'1", which isn't great for an edge rusher. Usually your edge rushers to be about 6'4". But even with his height, I still think he's a good edge rusher in general because he attacks blocks pretty well for that size. Him in the run game can be a bit of a liability, but somehow it worked at UNC. Maybe it was college, but I think with his size, it does make him a bit of an interesting prospect. I'm very interested to see who takes the risk on him because, again, being 6'1" an edge rusher is not that great. Maybe he gets transitioned to an outside linebacker, something along those lines. But overall, very interesting player because he has a lot of talent. He's just small. And then finally, let's talk about David Walker from Central Arkansas, someone who is being severely overlooked. This guy is not only a great pass rusher, he's also a very good run defender, and he went in coverage at Central Arkansas. He was the whole package. This guy has such great talent. If he didn't go to some school like Central Arkansas, he would be a first-round pick. I guarantee that. I saw almost no problems with him. He reminded me a lot of Joshua Metellus from the Vikings in the sense that you can put him anywhere, and he's going to succeed. Just like how Joshua Metellus played safety, corner, linebacker, D-end. I could see that with David Walker as well, and he's going to be someone that a great defensive coordinator is going to love because of how much versatility he brings to a defense. Moving to linebackers here. This class overall for linebackers is very good. I want to highlight a bunch of players, but I'm just going to do 2 here because, again, there's a lot of good linebackers in this class. You're going to want to take one. But those players being Jeffrey Bassa and Cody Simon. Starting with Bassa, he's going to be someone that, as a Cowboys fan, you're going to want. Like, preaching from a Cowboys fan who has seen someone very similar to him in DeMarvin Overshown, you don't want to see him fall. The reason why I reference Overshown is because both these guys are former safeties, turned linebackers, and both are great at that position. Both are light, which again is because they used to play safety, but with their like safety instincts, they're great tacklers. They have great instincts. They run reads pretty well. They're good at reading the quarterback's eyes. They're great at these things because of their former position. And again, as someone who watched Overshown before he went down, I can tell you, you want a guy who is able to play like this. He reminds me a lot of like Dre Greenlaw in the sense that he has great sideline to sideline speed. Jeffrey Bossa is such a good prospect. You want in on this guy. Moving on to Cody Simon, who isn't as fast as Bossa as a prospect, but that doesn't mean much because, in my opinion, he's an even better tackler than Bossa, which is crazy because Bossa was also pretty good. Cody Simon as well, though, has great vision, both in front of him and behind him. He has great feels and zone coverage. Rarely missed tackles. He's able to read routes on running backs. He reads screens. He is an all-around great running back, and the only reason why he's not being taken highly is because of his speed. He is pretty slow. Also, he's not great in man coverage, so he's not going to be covering, tight ends. But as a linebacker, a true linebacker, he is going to be an amazing player, and I'm so excited to see where he ends up. If he ends up in like a true defensive coordinator's lap, he's going to be elite. Going to corner, there weren't much guys that I actually kind of wanted to talk about here, funny enough. But two guys I want to talk about here both went to Kansas, just two different Kansas schools, those being Jacob Parrish and Melo Dotson. Starting with Parrish, the only flaw with him is that he's like 5'10". That truly is it. He's 5'10" playing quarterback. That will be an issue. But his game speaks for himself. He breaks on routes well, sticky in man coverage, plays the ball well, but most importantly, he is a tackler, and a willing one at that. He will be a run defender. He attacks blocks. He's also a blitzer. This guy is a true nickel corner. He is going to be a favorite nickel corner. Like, I cannot preach enough. This guy is going to be great in the league. I can see it already. He's not going to be an outside guy because, again, his height, but also just because of how good he is as a tackler. You want him in the slot. You want him to make plays in the run game. This is a nickel you want in your team, truthfully. And then with Melo Dotson, he's a bit overshadowed because of Kobe Bryant at KU, but he is kind of similar to Jacob Parrish in the sense that both possess similar strengths. However, I like his ball tracking more, but I like Jacob Parrish's tackling a bit more. I do think Melo Dotson will be solid in the league. He isn't as short as Jacob Parrish. He's a bit taller, but he's pretty similar, again, to what I saw from Jacob Parrish. I just think Jacob Parrish is personally a little better, but Melo Dotson is still a pretty solid corner overall. I just think Jacob Parrish is probably one of the most underappreciated players in this class. Finally, we have safety, and there's only one guy here, and the reason why is because I haven't finished the position yet, believe it or not. I'm still working on it, and I wanted to get this video out soon, because I'm going to have like 3 videos out next week, so I wanted to get this video out now. The safety I'm talking about here is Billy Bowman Jr. There's one negative with him, and he's like 5'10" as well. Again, not great, but I think he's going to be a great strong safety. He's a great tackler. He doesn't attack blocks well enough in my eyes, but he's a great tackler. He tackles running backs. He gets physical in the run game. He's a good man coverage guy, pretty good ball hawk. Overall, again, pretty solid strong safety in this class. It just, again, he's 5'10", so you can't really ask him to cover the skies that consistently, sadly. And that is it for my guys in this class and guys that you should be looking out for in this draft. I've hit a few times with players in the past. Last year, guys like Bucky Irving, Malik Mustafa, even a guy like Gabriel Murphy, who at one point was playing better than Dallas Turner for Minnesota, which I found crazy because Gabriel Murphy went undrafted. I had him as a top 5 edge rusher in my rankings, so seeing him outperform Dallas Turner was a bit crazy, but hey, Gabriel Murphy is a guy that I love, so I'm going to keep rooting for him. So I do hit on quite a few of these. Not every time, but a few bit. If you enjoyed this video, please plan on subscribing. I plan on posting more next week. My one and only mock draft will come out probably Monday. And then for Dallas, a Dallas Cowboy mock draft within Wednesday, Thursday. Please subscribe. I'm hoping to get more content out soon. And yeah, see you later.